Hey, howdy hey, and welcome back to Emily's Adventures in Possible Throat Infection Land. But I've decided to film this anyway, because I love you. Today's film is about an adoption that seems to go off without a hitch as everybody falls in love with this charming young girl. But as you'd expect, the attempts to dig into her past lead to great peril for all those involved.
It's the hard knock life for us. It's the hard knock life for us.
April Fool! Yeah, I know I'm late. More fool me. No, today's film comes at the request of Katie, and it is a psychological horror, and it is a horror, alright? The Times says so. Anyway, let's get stuck in before my head collapses on itself. Okay, so here is our protagonist Kate and her husband John, and the film wastes no time at all in completely horrifying the audience with this nightmare sequence.
No. Put me asleep. I'm going to be asleep.
It's too late for that.
No!
Wow, that was lovely! I can't wait to be an auntie one day. And only an auntie. Kate and her husband are about to adopt a child following a recent stillbirth. They also have 2 kids already, Max, who is almost completely deaf, and Danny, who likes Guitar Hero. Now this right here is a very nice scene. What a lovely family. Your womb is what? Sorry? Oh, never mind. Oh, and I see they have a jump scare mirror. Yeah, why do people get those? Kate and John visit the local orphanage and find Esther, a charming and gifted young lady from Russia. And just like that, 3 weeks later, BAM! Adopted. Things seem to go well at first, although Esther has a few small problems fitting in.
Little Bo Peep texts me. She wants her outfit back.
And it wouldn't be a horror movie without somebody and their partner knocking boots for no reason at all. In fact, we get 2 for the price of 1. Yay, I love a bargain. Esther catches them in the act, and Kate tries to explain to her what was happening, but Esther already knows what it is that adults do.
I know. They fuck.
She knows. It turns out that Esther is a lot more troubled and violent than the family could have expected. We see her put a pigeon out of its misery and get back at a school bully by pushing her off the slide, breaking her ankle. The family speaks to Sister Abigail, who confirms Kate's suspicions that something is wrong with Esther.
I think there could be something wrong with Esther.
Kind of odd that she had Esther in the orphanage for 2 years and only thought to come up with the scissor stabbing incident and the whole arson thing right now. I feel I should say at this point that the girl playing Esther gives a truly remarkable performance. In fact, most of them are pretty good, with one notable exception. But yeah, Esther is cold, calculating, and manipulative, and she has no problem with targeting innocent children. Her exerting influence over a tiny little girl is one thing. Getting a tiny little girl to be complicit in the brutal murder of a nun is just so mind-meltingly evil that my work is no longer braining. Wow, Max is gonna need all of the therapy after this.
Do you want to play?
Russian roulette! Get it? Because she's Russian. Esther is also aware of the fact that people rarely suspect young children, and she uses this to her advantage. In a therapy session, Esther convinces this woman that Kate is projecting her inadequacies as a mother. Speaking of which, I'm a little surprised that the film goes with this angle of everyone thinks Kate is going off the rails. With all the evidence against Esther, more people ought to be suspicious of her. If I had a friend who knew a lot of people who suddenly died in mysterious circumstances, I don't think I'd bring them round to visit my grandparents, you know? There's a kid with a broken ankle, a burned down house, a dead nun, and 2 kids who are clearly too terrified to say a word against Esther, which that therapist would have realised if she'd spoken to them, and still nobody else is getting it? Esther picks a bouquet of flowers from a rose bush dedicated to the stillborn Jessica. Then, when Kate grabs Esther's arm in horror, Esther puts said arm in a vice and breaks it.
You broke her arm.
And you'll never babysit again!
She then goes on to threaten the lives of both Max and Danny, which naturally sends Kate into a righteous rage. Meanwhile, John decides not to support his wife. Oh, so he's a crap husband as well as a crap father. I wonder how much longer he has. Also, kind of amazing that both Esther and Max are allowed to wander around by themselves in a hospital. Really? Grandma can't go with? So you might be asking, why is Esther doing all of this? Well, here comes the plot twist! According to the Sarn Institute, where Esther is from, she is actually a 33-year-old mental patient with proportional dwarfism. Lena Kramer, as Esther is actually known, has been passing herself off as a child for years, hence the wrist and neck ribbons to hide her scars and the prosthetic teeth apparently. Now she's trying to seduce John and have him all to herself. Okay, so as retrospectively creepy as that plot twist is, I have about 4 questions. Question 1. Why does Lena, why does she think this will work as long as John thinks she's a child? Question 2. How would Lena have accomplished everything up to this point if Kate wasn't so damaged? Pretty convenient that Kate was an alcoholic with a stillborn baby and a cheating husband and a deaf little girl and a son who wants to keep his genitals.
If I find out that you're lying, I'll cut your hairless little prick off before you even figure out what it's for.
Question 3. Kate's not allowed to drink, but John can have so much wine that his vision goes wonky. And question 4. If Lena's been concealing her horrible teeth this whole time, how did she manage that? Okay, she can wriggle out of dentist's visits. But what about brushing her teeth? Surely parents have to make sure their kids do that. I wish my parents had made me brush my teeth. Oh well. So at the end, Lena/Esther decides to put the entire family out of its misery, just like that pigeon. And she and Kate have their inevitable showdown. And I have to admit, both Kate and Max prove to be badasses.
Please, don't let me die, Mommy.
I'm not your fucking mommy!
Yeah, pretty cool. But I'm still annoyed though. There were plenty of things that I liked about this movie. The snowy surroundings make for a decidedly eerie atmosphere. Esther is definitely a formidable character who manages to manipulate everyone around her and still keep up the facade of childish innocence. And I love her UV paintings, even if they do make the Dark Castle logo look like a birthday cake. But those plot holes are too glaring for someone like me. For that reason, I give this film 6 jam sandwiches out of 10. Thanks again to Katie for your request, even if there is some debating whether this is actually a horror or just another thriller. I'd better do something next week that's unabashedly horror just to be on the safe side. I wonder what I should pick. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio. It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us.